Welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Ronaldo Brown, and this is the news at Old Trafford. And in what feels like the very first time, I'm actually doing one of these after a little bit of positivity, a little bit of elation, just a little bit of joy, really. It's top four settings, Champions League inbound. It feels like we're closer to where we need to be, but being the smart people that United fans obviously are, we know that there's still quite a long way to go. We need to utilise this period. It's a transfer season. We need to kick on. We need to keep the momentum going, and securing one or two more marquee players and kind of extending the squad and improving our depth is going to be key to doing that. So without further ado, let's get into the news. And with the first bit of news, it's surrounding goalkeeper Dean Henderson. With United and Dean Henderson being in talks over a highly lucrative 5-year contract, which could make him one of the best paid goalkeepers in Europe. Woodward is due to discuss budgets with the Glazers this week, and Henderson's contract is expected to be on the agenda. And one of the first things that comes to mind when you're looking at that is Dean Henderson potentially becoming one of the highest paid goalkeepers in Europe. Is he going to be that, being a number two? It kind of just heightens the controversy between him and De Gea. If we do give him that amount of money, then surely he's not going to be sat behind De Gea, because De Gea is already on an incredibly lucrative contract as it is, and he can't have two goalkeepers on such expensive or lucrative contracts. We've seen De Gea's mistakes. He's been slightly inconsistent. He's not been the same guy he was before 2 years ago, which, in saying that, he still had the third most clean sheets in the league this season. He had the second best saving percentage actually among all keepers that played more than 25 Premier League games, with first being actually Dean Henderson, which is quite ironic. But if you are going to pay him that much, what has he really achieved to be paid that much, do you think? Do you think it's on potential? Do you think it's the English player premium? I'm just not quite sure about it. I feel like De Gea might have one more season left in him. But if you are going to give Dean Henderson the contract that you're talking about, then he can't be a number two. So as I've just mentioned, let us know what you think. Do you think Dean Henderson is the guy for the future, or do you think it's De Gea? I know we've seen how exceptional Dean Henderson's been. He's probably been one of the better keepers performance-wise this season. But do you think he's actually worthy of such a lucrative deal, or do you think De Gea should be given a one last chance? Because he is on an exceptionally expensive contract, as I've just said. And having two keepers on it, I'm just not too sure about it. And it's just, realistically, you want one definitive keeper on a decent contract and a decent one to bring in, but you don't want two keepers on the same kind of level. It just creates goalkeeper controversy. It's just not what you need. And if United want to kind of kick on, we need one number one and one number one only. So let us know what you think, and let us know who you want to take forward as a United goalkeeper. And with the second bit of news, it surrounded the Chilean man Alexis Sanchez, with United rejecting a loan plus 15 mil obligation to buy offer from Inter Milan. This has been reported by Sport Media Set, and it's a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, we've rejected that. This is quite a smart thing for United to do, because if we were to agree to that, it means that we still carry on to next season paying a large portion of Alexis Sanchez's monumental wages, which is not the way to go. He's been surplus to requirements for about 18 months now. It's been a saga for 18 months. He's an aging star. He's not a star anymore, and he's someone that we need to get off the books. He needs to get off the wage bracket. And the main reason why we've not been able to sell him is because of the fact that his wages are so high, and it's dissuading other teams from taking him on, because it's quite obvious that Inter Milan actually do want to keep him, but they're also looking at it as like, we don't want to pay as much as he wants to be paid. And if he's not willing to take a pay cut and he's being stubborn about it, then it's quite a predicament, and United could find themselves maybe still having him, or having to obviously take a little bit of a payoff, which is what James Ducker reported actually, where James Ducker has actually said that there's a willingness from all parties to try and reach an agreement for Alexis Sanchez to join Inter Milan permanently. But unless he can be persuaded to take a hefty pay cut, United may have to swallow a payoff. And it seems like a bit of a nightmare scenario. Obviously, he doesn't fit into what we've got now, into the dynamic. We've got the likes of Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, James, and even the possibility of signing Sancho. He's just more than surplus to requirements, and we don't need someone like that with those kind of wages still on the wage bracket. And it's proven extremely difficult to get rid of him as well, because other teams don't want to take on that amount of money. So Tell us what you think about that. Do you think we'll actually get the Sanchez deal done? Do you think we'll get rid of him? Or do you feel like clubs are going to play hardball because we've obviously the ball's in their court because he's contracted to us? So let us know what you think. It's obviously it's a little bit tedious now. He's a player that we kind of want to put behind us, but he's just lurking in the shadows with his hefty wages. But just let us know what you think. Sanchez gone. Sanchez obviously not stay, but do you want to swallow a payoff? If it means getting rid of him, in my opinion, I feel like let's do it and just let's put it behind us. But that's it for that one, and let's get into the next bit of news. We're getting into the man himself, Jadon Sancho, where the reports that talks are continuing between Borussia Dortmund and United over the transfer of Jadon Sancho, with all parties being increasingly confident that a deal can be done. And I know that this kind of Sancho development has gone a bit stale. Us United fans are not quite as excited at the headlines anymore because we're not sure what to believe. It seems like there's a Sancho headline pretty much weekly, maybe even daily. And it's just, you don't know what to believe. But now the fact that more Tier 1 journalists are reporting it, the fact that it's been reported by obviously well-established media companies, I feel like as United fans we're allowed to get a little bit more excited. We're allowed to get a little bit more overjoyed at the prospect of seeing Rashford join the young, electrifying attacking trio that we've already got with the likes of Greenwood, Martial and Rashford already becoming the youngest strike force in history to ever score 60-plus goals. And if you're going to basically add that to Jadon Sancho, who himself last season had over 38 goal contributions on his own, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a more electrifying and a more dynamic and more exciting attacking quartet than that. Think about the prospect of Greenwood, Rashford, Martial and Sancho. If we can get that done, United are well and truly going places, and we can very soon see ourselves straight back at the pinnacle of world football, and that's exactly where we need to be. It pretty much looks like where there's often smoke, there's fire, and that's quite not always been the case when it comes to the Sancho thing. It's been kind of he say, she say. I remember I said that wrongly last week, but when it's like Sky saying it and you've got the likes of Romano and Ducker, the Simon Stones of the world, kind of reiterating the same stories that United are actually talking to Dortmund, then it's looking like an actual prospect to happen. And it's one of those where he's contracted at Dortmund until 2022, so there's no pressure for them to sell. So they may hold out they may hold out until next season, which obviously you wouldn't blame him. But if they want to get the amount of money that they can for him, then they might have to do it now. And I just want to see him in a United shirt, and I know you want to see him in a United shirt. I think secretly the world want to see him in a United shirt because they know it's going to be exciting. Imagine Jadon Sancho in the theatre of dreams, ripping it up with Greenwood, ripping it up with Martial. It's what we all want to see. And I know Jadon wants to come. He's not a Manchester boy, but he's got Manchester friends. It just seems like it all fits together right. He knows Rashford. It just seems like the perfect dynamic, and I don't see a prospect where the deal does not go through. And that's pretty much it for the news. And it's been quite a dull one. I expected it to be a bit warmer today actually, but it's not. It's just the pathetic fallacy and all that. But I'm still overjoyed. But that was the news. Make sure you stay tuned for more. We've got it every single morning, bright and early, 8 in the morning. And that's it for me. I'm glad to be on here again. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. This is Stretford Paddock. This was the news. And stay tuned.